Hello, my name's Laith Tamim and I'm doing this video on leadership point of view for the Healthcare Leadership Management PGCert. First of all, it's important obviously to talk about influences, and there have been many influences in my life. I've been a doctor for a number of years now, and I've also been founder and director of Ward for a number of years. And I feel certainly as a doctor and as a trainee, by the end of your training, you certainly become an amalgamation of all the good things that you've sort of seen along the way, and hopefully you've not taken on the negative or things that are not done as well. And so I've had a lot of influences along that time, and I think a lot of consultants that I've worked with have been fantastic leaders, and I think some of the things that I've learned from them I've tried to take on. So for example, things like trying to understand your team, understanding where they're coming from, what are their goals, what are their core values, and how can you attempt to align their core values with your core values and your ultimate goal as a leader, the end point you're trying to reach your team towards. Understanding that you yourself might not have the answers, but that the people around you might have the answers. And understanding that sometimes it's not all about you as the leader, but about how you use your team to effectively get to where you want to get to, and then realizing that actually they may have the answers that you don't have. And I've certainly seen a lot of consultants do that, and it's been something I've really tried to emulate in my leadership. But interestingly, when trying to think of influencers, I suddenly started to think about someone who is probably not classically an influencer for someone from a leadership point of view, but I realised I actually potentially have quite a few of the same sort of life purposes and core values as, and that would be Captain Catherine Janeway from Star Trek Voyager. So Catherine Janeway was a starship captain in this sort of fictional TV show, who was thrust into the Delta Quadrant, an unknown quadrant. She had a team of people with her, most of whom were loyal to her, but some not necessarily, who she had to lead to back home. That was potentially going to take sort of 70 years to get there. And so she got a very clear sort of life purpose, and she had a whole team of people that she had to try and get there. And so a life purpose that I certainly have, which I feel sort of is mirrored by Captain Catherine Janeway, is that I feel like we're exploring unknown territories. You know, we start life, and life can hold a whole host of unknown possibilities. And part of my life purpose is to explore those unknown territories and find out what's out there. Captain Janeway was happy though to always take tangents and see where they led. And the same, I'd love to be able to just stop and think, you know, I wonder what would happen if I took this route. You know, what would happen if I just stopped and decided to learn to play the cello for a while, and see what happened there. And that's definitely a part of who I am. I also, reflecting on this, feel that I get a lot of joy out of wanting people to achieve their best and helping people to achieve their best. You know, I get joy out of seeing that. And that is something that Catherine Janeway was amazing at doing. One of her core values, which again I mirror as well, is understanding that she may not always have the answers, but that using the crew, your instincts, and what's around you, you'll be able to find the answers. And it's that learning process that I really love. The sort of learning not just from within, but from around you and from the people around you. I find really thrilling. Trusting one's gut is another sort of core value of mine, and I feel that I've got a good sense of what's right and what's wrong, a good moral compass. I feel that injustices are something that we must fight, and I hate seeing injustice. Even if it takes me off my path for a brief moment, then I will do that. And again, that's another thing that Captain Catherine Janeway is known for, you know, potentially adding an extra year to their journey home by stopping some sort of injustice around because they felt it was the right thing to do. Another core value of mine is understanding that we're all human and we're all possibly going to make mistakes. If I'm leading a team that does make a mistake, it's my responsibility not to chastise that person, but to help them understand why that was a mistake. how can we learn from that? How can I learn from that process as well, so that we can sort of grow as humans? And I don't want to make this a list of just sort of core values, but I think another big thing that I feel about myself is that I take pride in how people see me. And I don't mean that from a vain point of view. I mean it from a sort of self-integrity, self-worth point of view, and building respect from others. I like to be seen as someone who cares about what other people think about them, that they are a good person, got good values, good moral compass. And so how I lead and how I live my life generally reflects a lot of those beliefs, that I want to essentially do good along the way through this life. And so all of that together means that often my leadership style ends up being a very much I think a fluidic sort of leadership style, where you move from at times needing to be directive. If you've got a team that actually don't know how to get to where they're trying to get to, and you potentially do know at that point, and you say, right, this is what we need to do. But even in that instance, you can still say, but this is what we need to do. Does anyone have any sort of alternative sort of ideas on how we can get to that point? And then all the way through to a leadership style where essentially you give them free rein and see what they come up with, and gently sort of guiding along the way is something that I sort of quite enjoy the process of doing. What can people expect from me? I like to think that people can expect they can expect an inclusive leadership, a compassionate leadership, a leadership that values their opinion, and respects everyone as equals within that team. And therefore, I expect that from everyone else as well. I expect people to listen to each other, to listen to what I have to say, to respect everyone's beliefs and individual thoughts. And I hope that by doing that, myself, I am setting an example as to how I feel that leadership should be, and how I feel that other people should act as well. So thank you for listening to my ramblings, and I'll see you again soon.